All right, everybody, welcome back to another Legacy video here on Magic Online. I am the Semiotician, and today we are going to continue our explorations of Hyper Turbo Doomsday, which is my preferred Doomsday deck these days. Although I will say, as a side note, that I did play for the first time ever Wonder Pro's Esper list at my locals last night, and it was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie, that deck is really, really cool, and I definitely want to play that soon. But today I wouldn't mind taking the blue-black Demir deck that I've been working on for a spin. So the last video I posted was my first stab at the deck. After that league, I ended up making a couple of changes to the deck. So I was still playing 4 Street Wraiths there. Let's just ignore this Quantum Riddler for a second. We'll talk about him in a moment. But I ended up changing the deck to look like this. And then the sideboard had Reality Ripple still in place of this Cabal Ritual. So assume this column here doesn't exist with the Riddler. The list basically that you see here then is the one that I played at the Legacy of the North Invitational last weekend. I finished 9th place. I lost to Stiflenaught, and I lost to the same Grixis Reanimator opponent, Achilles, who we lost to in the last video. And I beat Beans, I beat Blue-Black Reanimator, and I beat Cloud Post. It was just a 5-round, 32-person tournament. The match against Achilles on Grixis Reanimator was very, very close. I think if I made a slightly different pile in game 3, I might have been able to squeeze through. But, you know, there's a lot to worry about when the Reanimator deck is also on 4 Stifles. So today, I'm going to take the deck for another spin. What I've done is I really want to try Quantum Riddler. A lot of people seem high on this card, and I actually got a chance to play it last night in Wonder Pro's deck, and the card was just sweet. It's unclear to me like what the cut should be for Riddler, but I think with Riddler you might not need 4 Street Wraiths anymore. So the most natural cut, in my view, is to drop down to maybe just 3 Street Wraiths to run 5 Cyclers and then play the Quantum Riddler. It's possible that with the Riddler, we only need 4 Cyclers, and we could drop this Street Wraith as well for another copy of Thoughtseize, or maybe a copy of Flusterstorm in the main deck, depending on how you're feeling. But at this juncture, I want to run the deck that we see here before us. I've cut the Reality Ripple and the Commandeer that was in the last video for 2 copies of Cabal Ritual in the sideboard, allowing us to kind of amp up the turbo aspects of the deck. And we've got a single Thoughtseize in the main deck instead of 2 Pact of Negations. I think 1 Pact is all you need, but I was actually quite impressed with this card the past 10 matches or so I played with the deck. In any case, no idea how to maximize the power of Quantum Riddler. Even last night I was like, whoa, having this card in the deck opens up a lot of like crazy lines. Unclear if it's actually necessary. In the Hyper Turbo version, it's possible Street Wraith's still just better. But we're gonna give the old skipper a shot here, and it also has the added benefit of being another blue card in our deck. So we're back up to the full 25 blue cards, which I really like. In any case, we'll see what happens today. We're gonna pop into a league together here. Oh, wow, you love to see it. Look at Wakame, the master. That's so sick. 2nd place. You'll love to see it. Looks like we've got an opponent here. So let's see. We won the die roll. That's always nice. This hand, though. I mean, I'm not keeping this one with only a Lotus Petal. It's just not the best. This hand also doesn't look that great, but we do have some means of protection. We've got a couple of Ponders to fire off. I think I'm going to keep this one on 6. We'll bottom the Lion's High Diamond, but this is not a very impressive hand. We'll lead here with an Underground Sea. Personal Tutor gets us to Doomsday, which is kind of nice. And then we have no way to cast the Doomsday. We could shuffle this, but I think I'm happy going something like this. Use Ponder's ability, no. We've got the Brainstorm on the bottom of this pile, and then next turn we can draw the Street Wraith. It's possible we would have liked to stack the Brainstorm over top of the Street Wraith, so next turn we could Ponder plus Brainstorm. But if we can find a land off of this Ponder and then cast Personal Tutor, that would be pretty awesome. And we're against Mystic Forge here by the looks of it. So we're going to grab an Underground Sea. Really hoping to find a land here. Oh, wow. Now we just get the Doomsday and the Cycler. Okay, let's just draw. So now we have Force of Will, pitch, Personal Tutor, which is pretty awesome. We have the Doomsday coming next turn. And there's another Street Wraith underneath that, but I don't think we want to wait any longer. The question is whether we're going to daze a Grim Monolith here. Dazing Grim Monolith here sets us back in a way, but in a way it doesn't. I think I daze Grim Monolith here. The reason why it doesn't really set us back, okay, well now we can't daze Grim Monolith. Oh, they're just passing. Fascinating. Doomsday. So I'm imagining here that we can go Doomsday, and then we could have 2 Force of Wills, and then cycle to an Oracle. I don't hate that. I think this is just going to be Force of Will on top. Like, we could get fancy with Riddler here maybe, but I don't think I really want to. I think we can manage here just with a pile like this. Like, how do they beat 2 Force of Wills from this spot? I'm really not sure. Very bizarre start from them. I think I'm fine with this pile. We'll go Oracle on the bottom, Edge on top, Wraith, Force. Ozilix command to make a dude and scry and draw. I don't think that's our fight. They scried to the bottom. Urza's Tower tapping for Karn the Great Creator. We'll cycle Street Wraith in response. And then I'll Force of Will pitch Personal Tutor on the Karn. They can be 2 forces here. I'll be surprised. That resolves. Now they've got a Lotus Petal. Sure. For a Tezzeret. Does Tezzeret even matter? I don't really think it does. I'm going to let it go. This could be a mistake, but I don't think it does anything. Search. What could this get? Mox Opal. Sure. Cycle Street Wraith. Cycle Street Wraith. Tap this for a blue. Cycle Edge. Play Thoracle. There we go. Mystic Forge, you say. So we want these 7 cards against Forge. I started to develop a sideboard guide for this deck, sorry, and I'm just opening a deck box to grab it to see what I had said. The version's not quite the same anymore. So Daze is definitely, I don't think we need here. I'm not sure that we need Consider against Mystic Forge. And then we can probably cut a Ponder and Cavern of Souls. Let's see here. Sort by mana value. So we've got a little bit more speed in the form of Cabal Ritual. We've still got the 4 Petals. We've got Pact of Negation. We've got 1 Thoughtseize. We're down on a Ponder. We have Vision Charm now. 4 Force of Negations. 4 Force of Wills. Yeah, looks pretty good to me. Let's see how it unfolds. Mystic Forge is so popular these days, and I think Doomsday has a great Mystic Forge matchup. So that is good to know. This hand, it's got some sideboard cards in it. I think we're going to keep. It could use a mana, but this is the thing, right? We're adding this extra speed in our deck, so we only need to find 1 land here instead of 2 to get our ritual going. Shame is that it's unclear if we pitch Ponder or not here. 3 mana into a glaring Flesh Raker. I think this can be Force of Will, pitch Ponder, keep Vision Charm. Is that crazy? Let's pitch Vision Charm, I think. I don't want to fight the Flesh Raker. That card gets out of hand. It's one of the few things that matter greatly. So here we would like to find like land plus Force of Will in the top 3. Okay. This might not be good. The fact that we had to use our force like that's not the best. Soul Guide Lantern's totally a fine draw, though. Like, if they're playing a Soul Guide Lantern, that's gotta bode all right for us, right? Drawing a card immediately. So they're desperate to find some interaction here. And now, do we want a land in our Doomsday pile? Unclear. I think we'll take the opportunity to fetch here. Black. We'll play Doomsday. So now I'm thinking that we need Jace, Oracle, Ponder, maybe Island, Street Wraith. What does this look like? We draw Ponder for turn, cast Ponder, like play LED, cast Ponder. I think something like this has to work, right? I want to use the Ponder trick to ideally beat Disruptor Flute here. Okay, so we're going to draw Ponder. We're going to play Lion's Eye Diamond. We'll cat and Underground Sea. This. Draw into Jace. Mill Island Oracle. Draw Street Wraith. Win with Street Wraith. So that means that Street Wraith goes on the bottom. And then things can potentially go south here. Or does it make more sense to include the Street Wraith, Island, Oracle, Jace, Ponder? Right. And then I think I'm going to hold the LED for the time being. Hopefully they don't have a Karn here, but we shall see. If they do have Karn... Okay, so Karn's going to shut off our Lion's Eye Diamond here, which is really not good for us. So maybe I thought that we could beat Karn on this line, and we actually can't. And now the Street Wraith is on the bottom. Right? The Street Wraith is on the bottom, which is really bad. Let's cast Ponder here. Right. The Street Wraith is on the bottom. That's so unfortunate. Hopefully they can't Karn us next turn, I guess. Like Lattice Lock us. Yeah, since I can't cast the Oracle. So if I had the Street Wraith above, I would have been able to put the Oracle on the stack here. So that is what I was supposed to do. I did mess this up. Hopefully it doesn't matter. If they get the liquid metal coating here, Disruptor Flute. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Naming Thassa's Oracle. Tapping out for a key. Playing a Mox Opal. Passing. We're going to cast Brainstorm here. Put back Lion's Eye Diamond, Thassa's Oracle, draw for turn, cast Island, cast Jace, mill us. All right. So this pile was slightly sloppy. This Street Wraith, I believe, was actually supposed to be within the top 3 cards, but then we don't win instantly with the Jace, I believe. The Street Wraith needed to be on the bottom to actually win with the Jace there. But in any case, we were almost able to put together the line that I wanted to. But yeah, that's pretty par for the course in my experience. Doomsday kind of just slaughters Mystic Forge. If you're worried about Mystic Forge, Doomsday I think is a great choice. Oh wow, when we started that, Wakame had 4 trophies, and now Wakame has 5 trophies. I was talking to Wakame. I sent them my last video because this deck is in a way inspired by some of their work, and they were saying that they're on some new Doomsday deck. Speaking of Doomsday, we have a master here, Azerate 218. Good luck, have fun, friend. Fellow Doomsdayer. Can we keep this hand? That's a real question. I think I will keep it. It's not the best hand to fight Doomsday with, I will admit, but I want to play as though we don't know what our opponent's on, and I think I'd keep this hand. We have Lion's Eye Diamond plus Edge of Autumn, which can be powerful in certain matchups. We have a route to get to Doomsday, and then we do have this Brainstorm that we can use to manipulate the kinds of cards in our hand. If they hit us with the turn 1 Thoughtseize, though, that ain't going to be good. If they turn 1 Thoughtseize us, they probably take Brainstorm, and then we personal tutor Doomsday to the top and pray. Misty Rainforest go, huh? Another Brainstorm. I think I'm in to just putting Doomsday on top of my deck. They're going to Undercity Sewer here, I imagine. No. Oh, an end of turn Brainstorm. Okay. So maybe they're trying to stitch together an instant win here. We don't have access to Edge of Autumn into the YOLO Force because we have a Doomsday on top of our deck. Ponder's probably a good sign for us. Pedal. Pass. Draw Doomsday. I think I'm going to cast a Brainstorm now. There's the one of Thoughtseize I was kind of hoping for. Definitely put back Undercity Sewers here. And it might just be Lotus Petal. It could be Lion's Eye Diamond as well. It might actually be Lion's Eye Diamond. Fetch our Delta. I hope they don't play Stifle. Get Underground Sea. I'm going to play out Lotus Petal to play around Days, I think. We'll Thoughtseize them. And then in a pinch, we still have Brainstorm to cycle around our hand. Well, I guess I'm going to take Force. The fact that they have a Brainstorm is a little scary. They're going to fire it. Maybe when you have Quantum Riddler in your hand, you have to kind of aggressively turn through all your cards. Okay, so there's a Delta Fetch. A Doomsday of their own. I think that's fine. We can assume the Thassa's Oracle's gone. They probably have Riddler in their hand. Maybe they don't have a ring. Problem is they can Demonic Tutor if they have a Cycler in their hand, they can Demonic Tutor a Force to beat our Doomsday. I could have spun the Brainstorm here, but I don't know if I want to. Let's see if they found the Force of Will. 1 Force, 2 Force, 3 Force. So they do have a Force. They do have a Force, huh? Demonic Council, very cool deck. What do we get? A Riddler of our own, huh? So now we could try to put our own Doomsday onto the stack. It probably fails. Let's see, though. Veil of Summer. That's going to draw into their pile. Force of Will, Doomsday, uncounterably. Very nice. What did they pitch? Exiled Quantum Riddler. So they don't have Cavern of Souls now, right? Cavern of Souls is right here. How many Dazes are in exile? 1, 2, 3. Okay, I doubt they have a daze. This is fine. But now, we kind of need to go all in here. I kind of want to cycle Edge of Autumn. And then cast Ponder. There's Force of Will and Pact of Negation, huh? Okay, let's pass. Cycle. Cycle. Oracle. Force of Will, pitch. Brainstorm. And then I guess they have another Oracle as their last card. They're going to have second Oracle as their last card. Okay, let's warp a Riddler. We know there's a Brainstorm. Oh my god, we can Pact of Negation and then pay for Pact of Negation with Dark Ritual. Right. Okay. We can literally Pact of Negation and then pay for Pact of Negation with Dark Ritual. Is your last card Flusterstorm? It very well could be. Oh, that's incredible. Oh, that's so good. That's gold. I'm sorry, Azaret. That was sweet though. GG's. Okay, so against Doomsday, I think we want Flusterstorm. We might want Vision Charm. Force of Negation seems excellent. Duress seems excellent. So we can go for a full pivot here. If Azaret boards into a creature plan though, that could be a little rough. But I think what I prefer to do here is to kind of trim immensely on some of the speed and to just try to be a more controlling Doomsday deck. And to that end, I might even cut some of the personal tutors. And we're still like so far from getting where we want to be. Wow, that Pact of Negation honestly worked out really nicely. I think we can cut all 4 personal tutors. I'm kind of fine being a little slower against them. It's possible that we could cut. I mean, it's possible Vision Charm's not good. All of these cards I'm fairly fine getting rid of. I could potentially see cutting a petal. I could cut all the petals. Pact of Negation was like really good there, but I don't know that we necessarily need it. Let's sort by mana value. So this is like a really heavy interactive suite. So we're turning some of our threats into interactive cards. And we still have 27 blue cards, which is pretty sweet. So like you got to think of personal tutors as threats in this deck, and you often don't want to cut personal tutors. But I think when we want to board in like all this hate, it's not a bad idea. If Azaret jukes to creatures, it could be problematic for us. But yeah. Okay. So we've got the namesake in our hand. We've got a daze and a ponder, a bunch of lands. This we got to expect to get thought seized, but I'm gonna keep the hand. Okay. Don't thought seize me. All right. We dodged the seas. Trying a land's not the best. Got a lot of lands in this hand. I suppose I'll begin with a ponder. Okay, this is good. The Riddler's hilarious. Let's keep him in the wings. Ponder's ability, no. Okay, let's pass. I assume they're going to surveil here. Draw for turn. Looks like they're looking for a land. That means they've got a heavy interactive hand, which means that we're just going to play this out and pass. Then we have to decide whether we want the Riddler or not. I think I will take the Riddler just as like a blue card, in all honesty. I'll take the Riddler as a blue card. I'll play out Flooded Strand. I'm going to pass. So now we have Hardcast Fawn, Force Pitch Riddler plus Days. They are on green, we have to remember. And now we could get a Surveil land here. I don't think that's what I want to do, though. Let's Daze Doomsday. See what they want to say about that. They seem to be fine with that. Okay. They seem to be fine with a Daze. Bro, the Riddler's so cool. I kind of want to get my Riddler out of my deck box. End step. We'll crack a Strand. We'll take a sniff of the sewers ourselves. Edge of Autumn. Kind of don't care about that old skipper at this moment. He can be reshuffled back into a pile at some point. Draw another force. Let's just play Underground Sea and pass. We're kind of getting close to a hard cast on the Riddler too, which I just might do. So our opponent clearly has like infinite interaction here. Oh wow, we could Cavern on Sphinx next turn. That's actually so funny. If we draw a blue card, I think I'm definitely going to do that. Just Cavern on Sphinx. Yeah, we'll draw Duress, eh? I'm going to take a peek first. I want to see what they're up to. I guess I'll take their Doomsday. I'll play out a Delta. I'll pass. I want to take Doomsday there. I could have took one of their forces, but it's not quite what I want to do. We have very similar hands, but I have Cavernous Souls. Their carpets are stuck. Brainstorm was an excellent draw for them. I kind of want to fawn this Brainstorm. Get an Underground Sea. Maybe that wasn't right. Drawing Days was excellent. Let's name Sphinx with Cavern of Souls. Let's just cast... Let's cast a Quantum Riddler. Draw a card. It's a Misty. We shall pass the turn here. This time Brainstorm will get through. This ain't good. This is not good at all. Carpet of Flowers about to bury us. They get so much mana. Into the One Ring. Force of Negation, pitch Daze. They're passing. Okay, let's attack with our Riddler. They're going to play a Riddler of their own soon, which is unfortunate. A second Brainstorm. I guess I shouldn't have used the first one. So here comes their Riddler, I'm guessing. I'll attempt a hard cast force on it. We'll see if they want to fight back now with a single cast Fawn, perhaps. Yep. So their Riddler's in. Now our Riddlers are just going to stare at each other. The Cavern broke this game open for them, didn't it? What if I just cast Doomsday now, actually? That's a great idea. I just drew a Flusterstorm. Black, black, black. They go Force of Will, pitch, Force of Will. I go Flusterstorm. Same target, same target. Okay. Doomsday's in. We have a Quantum Riddler and we have a Lion's Eye Diamond. That means Flusterstorm, Thassa's Oracle. So like our Straight Wraith will draw us 2 cards. Then Edge can draw some number of cards, potentially 2. Something like this, perhaps. All right. I think we're dead here. Or they're going all in. I think we might have this. Unless I screwed up how Quantum Riddler works. Draw for turn. Let's play Lion's Eye Diamond. Hold control. Cycle this. Draw 2. Yeah, and then we cycle again and draw another Flusterstorm plus Oracle, and we play Oracle with double Flusterstorm backup. That was sick. So I guess they tried to go in for it. They tried to go for an all-in cycle edge into Doomsday, I guess, to win, and they didn't have it. Okay, this card is insane. All right. We are 2-0 with Hyper Turbo Doomsday, 2-0 4-0 with Hyper Turbo Doomsday. That was a sick match against Azaret. That was sick. Dark Ritual to Paper Pact and Negation was amazing. All right, we're up against Parks. That name looks familiar, but I do not remember what they play. This hand, though. Double Doomsday, only a single land. Oracle's already in hand. We've got Force of Will plus Days. We could personal tutor for a Ponder. I think I'm going to mull this. It just strikes me as a little clunky. We got like 3 cards that we don't want. This hand is way better than the last one. We'll keep, and I think I'll put personal tutor on the bottom, because we've already got the Doomsday for which that seeks. Parks might play lands. I could be wrong about that, though. This could also be the part of the league where we queue into Reanimator and get crushed. Here's a Tameo Inquisitive Student. Am I supposed to force pitch Brainstorm on that? It's going to get them immense value if they can flip it. I hate Legacy. Just the 1 mana him to Turok. I don't know if that's correct, but cast Ponder. Those are not the skippers we're looking for. Draw a Force, not bad. Vista go. Flooded Strand go. Maybe I should have force pitched Force, but I want to be in a position where we can Doomsday with protection. Because it strikes me it's going to be one of those games. This feels like Flame of Anor Wizards, don't it? We'll grab Sewers here. I guess Dark Ritual's fine. I'm going to attempt to fire here. Hard cast, Force of Negation. Force pitch Force. Okay. Force pitch Ponder. Yep. Go ahead. So this is probably Wizards. They're just passing again. Maybe I'm not supposed to go off there, but I don't know. It probably doesn't get much better if we wait, right? Like, we don't have the many discard spells in our deck in game 1. It's the Flame of Anor to draw 2. Yep. This card targets us too. We have to be aware of that. We can't affordably go for Jace either. This is going to be a tough one. Quantum Riddler? Never lucky. Okay. I assume this game's just like already over, but who knows? The longer it goes on, certainly the better it's got to be for our opponent. I might even hold this Underground Sea. I'm not even going to bluff Hardcast Force. Just passing, huh? Oh, wow. There's the Riddler. There's no way this thing resolves. I think I'm just going to hold it for now. Flame of Anor. Tameo. Brainstorm. Flip Tameo. Okay. Now, plus that. Try Pact of Negation. We're going to need a lot more than Pact. I'll try warping the Riddler here. Oh, cool. Look at the warp border. Force of Will, pitch Spell Pierce, sure. We're not well equipped to fight against this control deck game 1. I think we can probably just throw in the towel. Like, I don't think there's like a world where we win this. Let's see if they want to counter this. No. Bin Delta, draw Days. I don't know. Maybe they tap out. There's no way. Well, this game brought to you by Tameo. We would have died to the first Tameo had I not forced it, but maybe if I hadn't forced that Tameo, our Doomsday actually just resolves. Let's cycle edge. All right. Double force too strong against Jeskai Wizards. I think we want these 7 cards. And all right, well, I don't have Jeskai Wizards in the sideboard guide that I'm working on. So let's see here. We definitely want all 7 of these cards. Against control, I often don't mind trimming on some petals. It's unclear whether we want LED in the deck against control, although it is possible that because we're playing against that we kind of want that as an option. Like we want to be able to go fast, but there's like a world where we just cut all of our petals. And then maybe against control, our dazes aren't the best. So we could go something like this. It might come back to haunt us that we don't have any artifacts in our deck, but I remember last year when we were talking to Kai about playing against control, sometimes just cutting all of your artifacts is not a bad idea. Something tells me this isn't going to be enough, but I'm going to try it. We have a turn 2 Doomsday. If we have to force Chase, though, we'll see. If we have to pitch Jace to our force, that'll kind of feel bad, but Jace isn't even that good against their infinite Pyroblasts anyways. Flame of Enor is really annoying, though. Let's go Scalding Tarn. Fetch Scalding Tarn. We'll get a C. Let's put a Personal Tutor onto the stack. Our opponent's on a mull to 5. Put Doomsday on top. We'll pass the turn. I'll Dark Ritual Doomsday with Force Backup, opponent. And if you've got 2 pieces of interaction again, that'll be that. I don't think I want to wait around and find out. Let's go Dark Ritual Doomsday. Force of Will, pitch Flame of Anor. Force of Will, pitch Jace the Mind Sculptor. Pyroblast. All right. Yeah. The game's over now, but I guess we'll keep playing. Maybe that's too obvious and I'm not supposed to jam there with the little that I had, but these control decks, it kind of feels like waiting around. Doesn't get that much better, but I mean, if we would have drawn this Thoughtseize, it would have been better to Thoughtseize our opponent first. Let's hit him with one of those here. Okay, so we both got nothing. You're saying there's a chance, huh? Take our selection when we can get it. That's not what we're looking for. Riddler? My goodness. Plains. Beautiful land choice from Parks. Only got one cycler. We only got one Flooded Strand. Flusterstorm's a sweet draw. But now they've got 3 unknowns. Man, these draws have been so atrocious. I think I went too aggressively in this game. I think I can just sit back and wait. So we draw in Fluster plus Thoughtseize, then we can have this like big turn where we fight against multiple things and beat the Pyroblast. This is really not good. I guess I'll play one of these out. I think I'm just going to Fluster the Flame. Drawing 2 is too good. 4 cards in hand, though. Man, we've drawn only mana, and we like bottomed the mana with our Undercity Sewers, and we cut a bunch of mana from our deck. Whoa, deck. All right, this one's over, folks. This one is over. Oh, wow, there was the Riddler, huh? Maybe it wasn't over. It was over. I don't think we're beating Tamiyo there. Ugh. Round number 4 here with Hyper Turbo Doomsday. We're 2-1. This hand is not going to cut it. I'll mulligan. Oh, this hand's so bad. I think I'm going to... Do I mull it, though? I mean, this hand puts Doomsday on the stack in 3 turns. I'm gonna mull. It doesn't seem good enough to me. This is a solid hand. I think we can put Cavern on the bottom. Probably Jace on the bottom. And we'll see what they want to do. We've got the one of Thoughtseize, which is pretty sweet. Maybe Ponder can find Dark Ritual. Is this another Wizards deck? Looks like we might be against Wizards again. I'll hit them with a Thoughtseize. Hit them with a Thoughtseize. Oh, man. Their hand is so good. Do I take the Otter? I don't think I'd take the Otter. It's either Brainstorm or Force of Will. We're never resolving this Doomsday. I guess I have to take Force. Just because, like, the fact that they have 2 in their hands, like, how am I ever supposed to fight through 2 Force of Wills here? The deck is not constructed to go toe-to-toe with Control in game 1. This is the best card in our deck. We drew it. It's not going to be enough. We wish we had like 6 of them. 7 of them. Tamiyo. With Brainstorm in hand. GG's. Wow. I guess this is why Thoughtseize sucks, right? Like, this is why you only play 1 Thoughtseize, because it's actually not the best card in your deck. I don't know how we ever win this game now. I've got 1 Force in their hands. They're going to probably return the Force next turn. So how do we even, like, fight against that? We can't even cast the Doomsday. I'll just shuffle. Okay, they're going up. But we can't put Doomsday on the stack anyways. They took Ponder. Wow, you would think that we have all of the lands, huh? You would think that our deck is only lands this league. So we need to somehow beat... Wow. All right. Dress. Luster. Kind of want to keep the Lion's Eye Diamond. I might cut all of the petals, but I might keep the Lion's Eye Diamond this time. I think it's fine to cut a couple of the dazes. Jace, there's no world where Jace actually works in this matchup, right? Maybe there is. We can cut a Ponder. Submit the deck like this. I'll keep this hand. Play Undercity Sewers. I'll bottom edge. That ain't the skipper we're looking for. Wow, Tamiyo in this Wizards deck is like among the most powerful things I've ever seen. Well, let's daze it. I'll force to protect, I think. All right. Good. That was a good daze. And we get to surveil again. Another edge. We'll keep the Underground Sea this time. That's funny. Opponent is pondering now. I kind of want an answer to Tamiyo in this deck, like a flipped Tamiyo. How do you answer that in blue-black? Shieldred's Edict? That's so bad. We can't play Shieldred's Edict. Playing on a plains, passing the turn. We'll draw Underground Sea. I could duress them here, but I might just pass. We need a Doomsday, and then we need like a couple of more means of defense, probably. This is a good one. Let's cast Ponder. Bluster, Fluster, Force. Those cards are so good, but I'm going to any order shuffle. Delta's fine, but not the best. Maybe next turn I'll consider cycling a Street Wraith. Though we shall see. Wow. They're going to fight over this, aren't they? Okay, that's good. There's the skipper. Let's hit them with a duress now just to see. Oh, wow. Are they just dead? Can't cast anything. Dark Ritual Doomsday. They can't cast anything. So, good thing I left in that Lion's Eye Diamond. This is what I'm saying. This is why you want the diamond. Consider. We're going to go to 9 here. This ought to work. Oracle, bottom, Street Wraith. Consider. Lion's Eye Diamond. Cycle. Cast Lion's Eye Diamond. Hold control. Cycle. Crack for triple blue. Cast Consider. Bin Street Wraith. Draw Street Wraith. Cycle Street Wraith. Cast Oracle. All right. That time it worked. Opponent had a bunch of plows in their hand. I assume they're going to be cutting some of those now. And Wrath of the Skies. Not sure why that was left in, but yep. Slowly getting our revenge here. Do we want Manamorphose for their like one of Magus of the Moon? Might not be a bad idea. Just cut a Street Wraith for a Manamorphose. Call it a day. This hand will mulligan. It's not quite what we're after. This hand is pretty sweet. We'll keep it. We'll put Jace on the bottom probably. Then Island Ponder. In an ideal world here, we draw. That's actually not a bad draw at all. A land, I was going to say. I'm going to play my personal tutor now while they can't blast it. I'll put Doomsday on top. I'll pass the turn, and then next turn we'll like put Doomsday into hand. I'm gonna hit them with a duress first. Minor misstep my duress, huh? Okay. Fascinating. Minor misstep. Pretty cool card. Not gonna lie. Another land. Draw for turn. Land drop's awesome. They're representing Flame of Anor here. I think I'm just going to pass. If they tap out for Flame, I guess that's fine. They can just draw to Murktide Regent, you say. Yeah. Yep, you got a dragon. And you've got Pyroblast up, huh? End of turn. Let's start with a Consider. Land. I think I take it. And then Undercity Sewers here. Ponder. It's bottom Ponder. Draw Force of Will. Duress you. Jesus Christ. Guess I take Pyroblast, play Underground Sea, pass the turn. I don't think we're winning this one, folks. We got 3 turns to figure this out. The minor misstep turned out to be very good. That is most certainly not what we were looking for. I don't think there's a card in our deck that gets us out of this. Sure. All right, this is the last turn, folks. Let's cycle Street Wraith. Cycle Edge. All right. Okay, well, that was unfortunate. We got by Wizards. They have so much interaction. That's wild. I'm going to need to think a little bit more about that matchup. There's actually the first 2 times I've ever played against Wizards with blue-black turbo, We snuck a hole in the second one, but I take it that our opponent just did not sideboard correctly in game 2 and then corrected their sideboarding for game 3, because game 2 we Thoughtseize them and they just had a bunch of removal spells in their hands. Maybe they were hedging on us juking, which I think is one of the advantages of our deck. One more match left. Let's see how it goes. This league started out feeling so good, and then we just got paired against 2 Wizards decks, and they kind of stuck it to us. I'm going to need to think a little bit more about how to sideboard, because, yeah, we had a lot of good cards in that matchup too, like the double duress to try to poke a way through, but that minor misstep on the duress was very good. Let's hope we don't get paired against Wizards again. What a bizarre league. I think this might be a Doomsday player, but I can't remember. I'll keep this hand. Cantrip away from a turn 2 Doomsday. We've got Daze back up and a Street Wraith to cycle. All right. Wish our opponent good luck and put Ponder on the stack. Scalding Tarn, fetch. Underground Sea. Cast Ponder, looking for the namesake here. That is the namesake. We'll hide it from a potential Thoughtseize. Use Ponder's ability, no. We've got double Daze, so then we can put Doomsday on the stack next turn with double Daze backup, and I think, especially if my opponent taps out, it's going to be the route we're going to take. Using double Daze to protect a Doomsday does mean Ponder's fine. Using double Daze to protect Doomsday does mean that Oracle becomes slightly more challenging to cast. We shall see. They declined to use their Ponder's ability, so let's see if they've got, let's see how much interaction they've got. Underground Sea. Doomsday. What are they pitching? Force of Will, pitch Flame of Anar. 3 Wizards in a row. What the hell is going on? This is crazy. 3 Wizards in a row? Okay, well, to beat Wizards, we need Cavern of Souls, Thassa's Oracle. We've got the extra Cycler in our hand. I suppose it makes sense not to die to Bolt, but I think this is what I want to do in this spot. They're not going to Flame of Anar us next turn, which would be like the last great thing we have to worry about. I just have to remember not to cast this Underground Sea like an app. Like I've done that recently as a massive punt. Just don't play Underground Sea semi. Surely we can take 1 game from Wizards, right? Just tap out. I can't make this up. How do I know they're on Wizards? Because they pitched a Flame of Anor. All right, well, we can even daze a consign here. No, we can't daze a consign because I built a double Street Wraith pile. So I think, a double Edge pile. So I think the proper play here is actually to have another Wraith. Wizard. We will be the Wizard deck. Tap this for an uncounterable Wizard. Cycle Edge. And jam the old Skipper. All right, well, this hand was a little bit better than some of the previous ones. Do we want to change kind of like our approach? I don't think we do. Maybe cutting the petals does make us too slow, and that's like actually not the approach we want to be taking in this matchup. I'm actually going to cut a Street Wraith this time, and maybe even an Edge of Autumn. And maybe I'm going to keep a couple of the petals, like potentially 1 petal. We were cutting Days. I think on the draw, cutting a couple of Dazes isn't the end of the world. I don't mind something like this. 3 Cyclers. That does seem should be enough. I don't know. Maybe I'm not boarding right in the past time. So let's just try something different this time. If we go 0-3 to Wizards, that would be so funny. This hand's got a couple of Doomsdays to try to win by brute force. It's got the Quantum Riddler, which is also pretty awesome. And then I think I'm going to keep this hand. Opponent's on a mull to 6. All right. All right. Flooded Strand, go. Pass the turn. We'll draw. There's that one-of pedal just coming in so clutch here. Do we want to peek? Like, I could go for the personal tutor here. I actually don't mind this. I'm actually going to personal tutor for duress here and pass the turn. All right. So duress is on top. We're going to use this. I'll duress them. Force of will, dress down, brainstorm. Dress down, huh? Let's take brainstorm. Dress down. All right. Flooded Strand. Dress down in hand. Obviously, dress down fucks Thassa's Oracle, so we're going to have to account for that. There's the Thunderous Trap Trainer. And now they're looking for blue card off their trainer. They find it, so they will be able to preserve their dress down here. Let's take a sniff of the sewers. Thoughtseize, huh? I can't... Oh, man. I guess we'll top it, and maybe we can use it post-Doomsday. I'm hoping that we can win this fight. Black, black, black. Hopefully they go force pitch ponder. I go force pitch ponder. I'm going to force pitch Riddler. Let's see if Doomsday resolves here. Doomsday resolves here. So they've got a dress down in their hand. We've got a Thoughtseize in ours. I think we want to take things a little slow. What about Flame of Anor? Flusterstorm and like a Street Wraith, perhaps. Done. I think we'll go Thassa's Oracle on the bottom. No. Maybe even Fluster on the bottom with Thassa on top, with Cavern on top. Street Wraith Ponder. Pass the turn. The Flame of Anor is going to be pretty actually sketchy. Maybe I screwed up by putting Fluster on the bottom because we're going to need the Fluster to beat the Flame. 2 cards in hand. Attack with Thunder Trap Trainer. I'm at 7. Play this. Cast Thoughtseize. Take dress down. Leave them with Pyroblast. And then I think I'm just going to pass now. Okay, there's a Tamiyo. Draw. Let's cast Ponder, see what they want to say about that. Okay. We really got to hope they don't draw Flame of Anor here, I guess. Please don't draw Flame of Anor, opponent. Vista. Fetch Vista. Crack Clue. Cast Trainer. Now Flame of Anor doesn't kill us. Hopefully they don't have Consign, I guess. They get Consign here. Brainstorm. That ain't gonna do it either. Let's cast Street Wraith. Let's play Cavern. Let's name Wizard. And blue Oracle. And that should do it. They have a Brainstorm in hand. There's nothing they can do. Oh, sorry, Ganache. I think. Oh. GG's. Yeah, looks like they're on to the next one. If you see this, Ganache, well played. GG's. I'm sorry that you were the one Wizards player I had to beat and that it couldn't have been another way. But know that your clan of Otters and Moonfolk have outdid me in the 3-game set that we got to experience here. What a league. What a funny league. We started out playing against Mystic Forge, and then Doomsday, and then we just played against Wizards 3 times. I think we drew underwhelmingly in some of the middle matches there. Then in the third match, we actually had slightly better draws, and we were able to fight through what our opponent was cooking with. But what exciting Magic the Gathering. So incredible. You love to see it. Let's go back, observe the deck list. Let me just say, I'm actually very happy I just spent 50 stupid tickets on this dumb Quantum Riddler. This card is not dumb. This card is sick. This little skipper, in fact. Let's get the skipper out of the deck box. I've got Wonder Pro's deck right here, the Esper Doomsday deck. I played this at my locals. I might have said this at the beginning. I can't remember. It's been a bit. But this deck is awesome. And I went 3-1 last night with it. I lost to Corey Steel Cutter. Here we go. I don't know if you can see this. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, yeah. The Riddler. That is so cool. What else was awesome about this Wonder Pro list? Baleful Strix. Very cool. In conjunction with... Wait for it. Have you ever had the pleasure of unearthing a Baleful Strix in your Doomsday deck? I did that last night, and I drew a card. It was sick. This card also last night was amazing. I had to beat 2 Consigned to Memories against Breakfast. So yeah, I lost to Cutter. In case anyone's interested, I beat Blue-Black Delver in round 1. Blue-Black Delver with actual Delvers. Round 2, I lost to Blue-Red Cutter. That matchup was interesting. So I don't know how Wonder Pro's approaching this deck. Like, it was my first time playing it. It's really weird. It's only got 1 Cycler. It's got like a Mishra's Bauble. So a lot of my like pile heuristics from the normal tempo deck have just been completely changed. From the normal turbo deck have just been completely changed when playing that list. But it had a lot going for it. The Cutter, I beat Cutter game 1 with a Doomsday, and then I decided to board out of the Doomsday package completely into like, you could like, the sideboard has... I'm literally holding the sideboard. The sideboard has... Ooh. The sideboard's got Lavinia in it. This is so awkward. Lavinia, Nihil Spellbomb. Sorry, my webcam is mirrored. Force of Negation. Oh, none of these are the things I brought in against Delver. But we brought in a SpongeBob Plains because I've yet to get a Beta Plains. We bring in 2 Monastery Mentors, and hilariously enough, game 3 I had 2 Monastery Mentors out against my opponent's 2 Corey Steel Cutters, but my life total was just low enough that the lightning bolt killed me in the end, and yeah, so that was unfortunate. But I had 2 Monastery Mentors, I have 2 Prismatic Endings, and then 3 Swords to Plowshares and 2 copies of March of Otherworldly Light in the sideboard as well. So I decided to board out of the entire Doomsday package into this like Esper control deck, and it like worked out pretty well. Um, game one or game two. So I beat my opponent game one with Doomsday, and then game two they got a Tameo flipped on me, snuck under my radar, flipped the Tameo and just used the Tameo to rebuy a bunch of spells and just buried me in card advantage. And then I could never like use my control package to dig out from under the value that this Tameo was generating. And they were like blasting my Tameos, and it was all just a bloody nightmare. Pyroblast is very good against Doomsday, I think, like especially against like your Teferis and your Baleful Strixes and all these cards, right? Tameos. And then game three, he had the turn two cutter into turn three cutter. And that was like far too many monks. I managed to like deploy my own Monastery Mentor, get some like chump blockers for the ones that weren't equipped to the steel cutter. And then I deployed a second one, made some more monks, but then he had a lightning bolt as the last like meaningful card in his hand, and I got screwed. So that was rather unfortunate. And then I got paired against Mono Red Prison in round three. My opponent drew poorly in the second match, but I took that one 2-0. I got to do one of my favorite plays, the EOT Dark Ritual Doomsday with Teferi out. That always feels great. And then game two, my opponent had some Trinispheres, and I was able to used a prismatic ending to actually kill their broadside bombardiers. And on the following turn, I had drawn a force, so I used Teferi to bounce Trinisphere and then force the Trinisphere on the way back down. And then I ended up actually just Dark Ritualing out a Quantum Riddler, and I just won the game with beats. I Dark Ritualed out a Quantum Riddler, and then I hard cast a Street Wraith in the same game, and so I just had Riddler plus Wraith on attack duty, and my opponent just couldn't recover. And I eventually beat them down. And then round four, I played against a good friend of mine on Cephalid Breakfast. And I can't remember exactly how game one went. I think I just snuck a win through. I had maybe Thought Seize them or used Flusterstorm to protect my Doomsday, and then made a pile where I like Street Wraithed into Mishra's Bauble, played Mishra's Bauble, then Mishra's Baubled into a Force, and then had the Force to protect myself on their turn, and then had a Cavern Oracle on mine. So that was pretty sweet. And then in game two against Breakfast, we played this like super long game where I actually led on the Lavinia Azorius Renegade and a Nihil Spellbomb. It kind of like slowed down my opponent's progress and routes to victory. We played this really, really, really long game. Eventually, a Saga came down and a Cavern of Souls. So I got very worried about like a Nadu just burying me off the top, and so I decided to act. I cast Doomsday. I put my Nihil Spellbomb trigger onto the stack to like draw into my pile, and then my opponent consigned the draw trigger on the Nihil Spellbomb, and that was good. But I had already constructed my pile to beat consign, so my plan was to cycle to Oracle, cast Oracle. If they had consign, then the following turn, I could have played a Teferi with a Flusterstorm backup, and or Teferi with Force of Will backup. It was, and then bounce Oracle back to my hand and recast it where you couldn't consign. And then so they had consigned me. Then they used their Tameo to return their consign, and then on my turn, I had the Oracle in hand, and I just cycled the Street Wraith or something like this into the Teferi. I played the Teferi, and then the consigns did nothing, and then I just slammed my Oracle and won the game. So that was awesome. Quantum Riddler impressed me very much last night, as it continues to do here. And so I was happy to try out the Riddler in the turbo list. And I didn't mind not having 4 Street Wraiths here. In fact, I really enjoyed having this Riddler as an option. We saw it come up. The fact that you can just Dark Ritual this thing out and just have a 4/6 is pretty good in some matchups. It's a great blocker. It's a great attacker. I think it's just all around a really cool card. We had the one Riddler pile where we like drew, I think it was our Cycler for turn, and then we cycled into like Fluster plus Cycler, and then that Cycler could get us into Fluster plus Oracle. Then we could put Oracle in the stack with double Flusterstorm backup. That's all pretty sweet. I also think Riddler works very nicely with Pact of Negation in some spots. I was talking with Wakame a little bit about that. But sorry, yeah, I kind of just, that was a little bit of a scatterbrained debriefing. We didn't get to see the true power of the Cabal rituals, really, although I guess they did work out for us in the Mystic Forge matchup. Manamorphose still haven't actually got to use this card yet. So yeah, I'm not sure about that, whether I want to keep that in the deck. But other than this, like, I'm liking this sideboard. I like this 7-card suite for blue decks. Like, you notice me every blue matchup, we were boarding these in. They didn't work out against the Wizards in some cases, but in the third match against Ganache, we did get the Wizards with some combination of these like discard spells and Flusterstorms and whatnot. So I think this is the way I want to approach blue, and I think that these Flusterstorms are very good against Reanimator and probably better than Graveyard Hate against Reanimator in most spots, because it's just more versatile, because it hits the Thoughtseize, it hits their Force of Wills and Dazes too. Again, would love to get some more reps in against Blue-Black Reanimator, because I do think it's close to 50-50. I mean, that's exactly how my record, I played against it 4 times on this exact variation of like the Hyper Turbo Doomsday, and I'm 2-2 against them. Mind you, both of my losses are to the Grixis Reanimator of Achilles, which is not the traditional Reanimator, and I have beat Blue-Black both times that I played against it, but it's possible we just got lucky or our opponents got unlucky. So the sample size is far too small to tell. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed the Riddler Turbo Doomsday here, and we'll be back for more Doomsday action. I'm locked. I believe I can now say that I am locked on some variation of Doomsday for Eternal Weekend. I'm just going to run it back, guys, like last year. Screw Corey Steelcutter. I'll bring it along. Maybe I'll play some side events with it, but like, I'm not, I just want a Doomsday. I actually think Doomsday is in a pretty good spot in this metagame, especially with Mystic Forge on the rise. I think our Mystic Forge matchup is so good. And so yeah, that excites me. And yeah, it's just going to be a matter of trying to hammer out the numbers, like what we want our main deck to look like. Do we really want this Pact of Negation? Should there be a Flusterstorm in the main deck? Do we want more than one Riddler? I think one's fine. Do we need 4 Street Wraiths if we're playing Riddler? Can we get by with just the 4 Cyclers and play another interactive spell like Thoughtseize or Flusterstorm? What about the sideboard? Do we want Barrow-Goyfs? I don't think so. I think I want to keep playing something like this, but maybe there's some other cards that might work out better. Do we need a catch-all like Ripple Charm, or Reality Ripple, to beat things like Chalice of the Void, or do you just want to consign yourself to having the force for their Chalice? We shall see, but this is the list as I am entertaining it now, and we will continue to adjust and practice with this deck moving forward. But so far, I mean, I've just been 3-2ing every league with it, which isn't bad. Hopefully we can get a little bit better there. It was pretty funny today getting Otterly destroyed by Wizards. But yes, I like Otters. I think they're very cute, and I'm happy to get chewed apart by a bunch of Thundertrap trainers. Yeah, whatever, guys. This is the Semiotician signing out. Feel free to drop a like, a follow, whatever those things are for YouTube if you are enjoying the content. If not, thanks for watching anyways, and we'll see you all soon. Cheers, everybody.